Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and instead of grabbing your phone, instead of letting old thoughts rush into your mind, instead of feeling the same heavy emotions that kept you stuck for years, you open your eyes with a level of clarity and control you've never felt before. Imagine feeling the weight of your worries drop away because you finally understand that the first moments of your morning are not accidents. They are your greatest weapon. Imagine realizing that the way you breathe, the way you think, the way you move, and the way you prepare yourself in those first quiet minutes have the power to reshape your identity, sharpen your discipline, and build a mental strength that stays with you through every challenge of the day. This is what happens when you stop letting the morning control you and start using the morning to build the strongest version of yourself. 1. Protect the first thoughts you think each morning. The very first thoughts that pass through your mind each morning are far more powerful than most people realize because they quietly determine the emotional temperature and mental direction of everything that will happen afterward. When you open your eyes and immediately allow your mind to jump towards stress, unfinished tasks, past arguments, unwanted memories, or yesterday's disappointments, you unintentionally carry all of those emotions into the new day. It's like taking yesterday's garbage and placing it on today's clean table. Those negative thoughts begin to shape the way you interpret situations, how you react to people, and even how confident or insecure you feel as the hours pass. A small negative thought in the morning can slowly grow into a heavy emotional weight by afternoon without you even noticing how it happened. But the truth is that you are not powerless in this moment. You have full control over how your day begins, and the first few minutes after waking up are your opportunity to consciously choose the mental path you want to walk when you deliberately shape your morning thoughts. Even with something simple like reminding yourself that today is a new beginning, that you are responsible for your responses, and that your emotions do not have the authority to control your entire day, you take back your power. You start the day from a place of strength instead of reaction. You choose clarity instead of chaos. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that the first battle of every day is not against the world, not against your challenges, and not against other people, but against your own mind. If you lose that internal battle, it doesn't matter how strong you are physically or how intelligent you are logically. Your day will control you instead of you controlling your day. But if you win it, if you train your mind in the first few moments to stand firm, to think with intention, and to step into the day with awareness instead of fear or anxiety, then you move through life with a sense of direction that most people never experience. This is why protecting your first thoughts is not a small habit. It is the foundation of mental strength. When you wake up and choose peace instead of panic, purpose instead of distraction, and clarity instead of emotional noise, you build a mind that becomes stronger, calmer, and more resilient every single day. And over time, this one simple practice transforms you into someone who does not get easily shaken by problems, because the strength you build every morning becomes the strength you carry through life. 2. Don't touch your phone. Touch your identity. One of the biggest reasons people start their day feeling mentally weak, distracted, and overwhelmed is because the very first thing they do after waking up is grab their phone. The moment you check your notifications, messages, social media, or random updates, you instantly invite the world's noise, opinions, drama, and pressure into your mind before you have even given yourself a chance to breathe. Your brain wakes up in a state of reaction instead of intention. Your emotions become tied to whatever you see on the screen, someone's post, someone's message, someone's news, and without realizing it, you hand over the steering wheel of your day to external forces that do not care about your mental strength. The Stoics taught that you must guard what enters your mind with the same seriousness you would guard something precious, because the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life, and there is no moment more vulnerable, more unprotected, and more easily influenced than the first few minutes of your morning. When you reach for your phone immediately, you are essentially telling your mind that the world controls you, that your attention is available to anyone at any time, and that your direction depends on what other people have to say. This habit weakens your focus and slowly destroys your ability to think clearly throughout the day. But when you resist the urge to check your phone and instead devote the first part of your morning to yourself, you reclaim control over your identity. Those quiet minutes become a space where you reconnect with who you are and who you want to become without any external noise interrupting your thoughts. You give your mind time to wake up naturally, to process your feelings, to set intentions, and to build clarity before anything from the outside world tries to shape your mood. You begin your day by choosing your own voice instead of drowning in the voices of others. During this precious time, you can reflect on your goals, breathe deeply, stretch your body, sit in silence, or simply allow your mind to settle into the new day. This is not about creating a complicated routine. It is about giving yourself permission to exist without interruption. When you start your morning with intention, your mind becomes sharper, your emotions become calmer, and your confidence begins to grow because you have already demonstrated discipline before the day even begins. Over time, this habit transforms you. You become someone who responds instead of reacts, someone who leads their day instead of being dragged by it, and someone who builds mental strength from within instead of depending on external validation. By protecting the first moments of your morning and choosing to touch your identity instead of your phone, you train your mind to remain focused, disciplined, and deeply connected to your purpose. And that shift becomes the foundation of a stronger, more powerful version of yourself. 3. Your morning routine is your mental shield. A strong morning routine is not just a series of tasks you repeat because they look productive or because they are trendy. It is a personal shield you build every single day to protect your mind from chaos, noise, and emotional instability. The way you start your morning quietly trains your brain to handle everything that will come later. If your morning begins with confusion, rushing, or randomness, your mind carries that same scattered energy into the rest of your day. You find yourself reacting without thinking, losing focus easily, and struggling to stay calm because you began the day without any sense of order. But when you create a simple, intentional morning routine, you are telling your mind that there is structure in your life, that you are in control, and that you will not let the world shape your emotional state. Your routine does not need to be complicated or filled with 10 different activities. What matters is consistency, not quantity. Even small actions, waking up at a set time, organizing your space, taking a moment to breathe, drinking water, or sitting quietly with your thoughts, can completely transform your mental state. These simple actions signal to your brain that stability exists, and stability is what your mind relies on to feel strong. The Stoics believed deeply in the power of practicing discipline through small daily habits. They understood that strength is built in the small, repeated actions that shape your character, not in big, dramatic gestures that people often wait for. The morning routine is one of those small practices that eventually creates a big change. When you repeat the same grounding actions every morning, your mind begins to settle into a predictable pattern that reduces stress, increases clarity, and improves emotional control. You build a rhythm that keeps you centered even when the world becomes unpredictable. Your routine becomes the armor you wear before stepping into the challenges of the day. When your bed is made, your space is clean, your breathing is steady, and your thoughts are collected, you approach life with a sense of calm strength because your morning has already prepared you. Your day does not control you, you control your day. You move with purpose instead of anxiety, focus instead of distraction, and confidence instead of confusion. Over time, this morning discipline becomes a quiet promise you make to yourself. No matter what happens, you will start your day with intention, clarity, and strength. And when you show up for yourself every morning, consistently and without excuses, your mind learns to trust you. That trust becomes the foundation of your self-belief. It becomes the reason you stay calm in difficult moments, the reason you stay focused when others panic, and the reason you keep growing while others stay stuck. A strong morning routine creates a strong inner world, and a strong inner world creates a strong life. 4. Use silence to strengthen your inner world. Silence in the morning is one of the most powerful forms of mental training, yet it is also the most ignored. People often underestimate how much noise they allow into their minds before they have even taken their first deep breath of the day. The moment they wake up, they rush into activity, conversation, social media, or worry, and without realizing it, they drown their inner voice under layers of unnecessary noise. But those who understand the value of silence know that quiet moments are not empty. They are full of the truth your mind has been trying to tell you for a long time. When you sit in silence each morning, even for a few minutes, you give your mind a chance to reset itself after a full day and night of unconscious thinking. Silence becomes a mirror where you can finally see your emotions clearly instead of being controlled by them. The confusion that usually feels overwhelming begins to soften. Your overthinking slows down, and your thoughts stop attacking you from every direction. Your mind shifts from chaos to clarity, from noise to awareness, and from reaction to observation. In that stillness, you begin to understand what is actually happening inside you, instead of letting your emotions run your life without your permission. The Stoics believed that a person who cannot sit alone in silence is a person who does not yet understand their own mind. They knew that stillness reveals your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your desires, and your beliefs more honestly than anything else. When you spend the morning in silence, you notice how your mind tries to pull you toward old habits, old problems, and old emotions. And you learn to gently redirect yourself instead of getting trapped in those patterns. You begin to see which thoughts are helpful and which ones are harmful. You gain enough emotional distance to understand that not every thought deserves your attention, and not every feeling deserves your reaction. Silence becomes a training ground where you build emotional stability. It gives you the strength to slow down your internal storms before they have the chance to take over your day. It allows you to breathe in a way that calms your nervous system and prepares your mind for whatever happens next. Instead of waking up in a state of panic or urgency, you wake up with a sense of grounded awareness. You become someone who starts the day from the inside out, not from the outside in. And something remarkable happens when you do this consistently. You begin to carry a quiet strength with you everywhere you go. You respond to challenges without anger. You handle stress without falling apart. You speak less, but with more intention. You stop being irritated by small things because your mind has already tasted peace before the world had the chance to disturb you. The strength of your morning silence becomes the strength you use to navigate the rest of your day. Over time, this practice turns you into someone who cannot be easily shaken, because the world may be loud, but your inner world is calm. People may try to disrupt your peace, but you have learned how to return to your center. Situations may test your patience, but your mind has already been trained in the quiet hours of the morning. Silence becomes not just a practice, but a source of power, a deep, unbreakable power that allows you to move through life with clarity, balance, and unshakable emotional control. 5. Train your body to strengthen your mind. Training your body in the morning is not simply an act of exercise or physical movement. It is an act of self-respect and mental conditioning. People often think that physical activity is only for health or fitness, but in reality, it shapes the foundation of your emotional stability and mental strength. The way you treat your body in the first part of the day sends a strong message to your mind about who is in control, your discipline or your moods. When you wake up and decide to move your body, even with something small and simple, you are teaching your brain that you are capable of taking action before excuses have the chance to take root. You show yourself that discomfort is something you can walk into willingly, not something you fear or run away from. Most people allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They wait to feel ready, they wait to feel motivated, or they wait for the perfect moment. But mentally strong people understand that if you let your body stay weak, your mind slowly becomes weak too. The Stoics believed in voluntary hardship, small, intentional challenges that make you stronger long before real challenges appear. When you choose to push your body in the morning, even with light stretching, a few minutes of walking, breathing exercises, or mindful movement, you are practicing voluntary hardship. You are reminding yourself that you are capable of doing difficult things, even when you don't feel like it. This decision builds a layer of mental armor that stays with you for the rest of the day. Movement also stimulates your mind in a way silence alone cannot. When your body moves, your blood flows, your breathing deepens, and your brain receives a rush of oxygen that wakes up your mental clarity. Your stress levels drop, your emotional tension loosens, and your mind becomes more focused and alert. This physical activation prepares you to handle conversations, challenges, and decisions with more presence and less emotional reactivity. You think more clearly, you feel more grounded, and you approach situations with a steadier mindset. On the other hand, when you start your morning with laziness or inactivity, your mind absorbs that sluggish energy. You become more prone to overthinking, more sensitive to stress, and more likely to procrastinate because your body has not been activated. Physical stagnation becomes mental stagnation. But when you move your body first, your mind becomes sharper, your confidence rises, and you feel capable before the world demands anything from you. And the true power lies in consistency. When you repeat this habit every morning, even for just a few minutes, your body begins to trust your discipline. Your mind starts to recognize movement as a signal of strength rather than a burden. Slowly, you begin to see yourself differently. You develop a quieter confidence, a sense of control, and a willingness to handle challenges without hesitation. You don't break easily because you have already shown yourself that you can push through discomfort. You don't fall apart under stress because your body and mind have been trained to remain steady. This daily decision transforms your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who reacts to life and start seeing yourself as someone who leads it. You realize that if you can conquer your physical resistance in the morning, you can conquer emotional resistance throughout the day. That small act of discipline becomes a reminder that you are capable, stronger than your excuses, and bigger than your fears. The mind becomes strong when the body moves with purpose, and the body becomes strong when the mind commits with discipline. When both work together, you become someone who walks through life with clarity, power, and unwavering inner resilience. 6. Practice morning solitude. It rebuilds your inner power. Solitude in the morning is one of the rarest experiences in today's world because almost everyone wakes up and immediately exposes themselves to noise. Noise from their phones, noise from responsibilities, noise from other people, and noise from their own rushing thoughts. Human beings have become so addicted to constant stimulation that they can no longer sit quietly without feeling restless or uncomfortable. But this discomfort with solitude is exactly why it is so powerful. The moment you choose to begin your day in silence, in stillness, and in your own presence, you enter a space that most people avoid. A space where self-awareness grows, clarity returns, and emotional strength begins to rebuild itself from the inside out. Morning solitude is not just being alone. It is a conscious decision to separate yourself from the world long enough to reconnect with your mind, your emotions, your purpose, and your deeper identity. It is the one part of the day where you can listen without interruption, not to others, but to your own inner voice, the voice that gets drowned out during the chaos of everyday life. When you sit alone, without distractions, your mind begins to show you the truth of what you feel, what you need, and what you have been avoiding. You begin to understand yourself at a level that is impossible to reach when you are constantly surrounded by noise. The Stoics believed that a person who cannot handle solitude is a person who does not yet know who they are. They understood that strength comes from the ability to be whole within yourself without needing the world to fill your empty spaces. When you sit alone in the morning, you start to see your thoughts with honesty instead of fear. You begin to understand why certain things bother you, why certain habits control you, why certain emotions return again and again, and why certain people affect you more than they should. This self-understanding is the beginning of transformation because you cannot change what you cannot see. Solitude also creates emotional distance. In the quiet hours of the morning, you are no longer reacting to life. You are observing it. You stop letting yesterday's problems define today's decisions. You stop letting other people's words influence your sense of self. You stop letting your fears make choices for you. Instead, you see everything with deeper clarity. You recognize what truly matters and what does not. You regain control over your thoughts, rather than letting your thoughts control you. This shift in perspective is subtle but extremely powerful, and it becomes stronger each day you practice solitude. Another important part of morning solitude is that it reconnects you with your long-term vision. When life becomes busy, people often forget what they are working toward. They forget their goals, their dreams, their intentions, and their higher purpose. But when you sit alone each morning, you give yourself the chance to remember why you are on this path. You reconnect with your direction. You remind yourself of the person you are trying to become. This clarity gives you motivation that does not depend on others. It gives you confidence that does not depend on approval. It gives you strength that does not depend on external success. You become self-sustaining. Over time, you will notice that solitude becomes your emotional home, the place you return to whenever life becomes overwhelming. It becomes the space where you recharge, rebuild, heal, and regain your balance. It teaches you to no longer fear being alone because you realize that solitude is not emptiness. Solitude is growth. It is the space where your mind becomes sharper, your emotions become calmer, and your identity becomes stronger. You become someone who does not break easily because you know how to return to yourself when life becomes heavy. You become someone who does not rely on constant social interaction to feel complete. You become someone who is rooted, grounded, and internally anchored. And perhaps the greatest power of morning solitude is this. Once you learn to be at peace by yourself, the world loses its power to disturb you. People may disappoint you, situations may frustrate you, and life may throw challenges your way, but your inner world remains steady because you have trained it in the quiet hours of the morning. Solitude becomes the place where you strengthen your foundation, one calm breath at a time. And a person with a strong foundation is a person who can withstand anything. 7. Set one daily intention and follow it without excuses. One of the biggest reasons people feel mentally weak, emotionally unstable, or constantly overwhelmed is because they scatter their attention in too many directions. They wake up thinking about 100 different tasks, dozens of responsibilities, unfinished plans, and unrealistic expectations. And by trying to do everything, they end up accomplishing nothing. Their mind becomes cluttered, their focus becomes foggy, and their day slips away without any sense of direction or progress. But mentally strong people live differently. They understand that the key to a powerful day is not doing more, but doing what matters with intention, clarity, and unwavering follow-through. Setting one clear daily intention in the morning may seem simple, but it is an act of deep discipline and inner strength. When you choose one thing, one meaningful goal, one important action, one necessary step, you give your mind a target instead of letting it wander aimlessly. You create direction instead of chaos. You create purpose instead of confusion. You create momentum instead of stagnation. This single intention becomes your anchor throughout the day, guiding your choices and protecting your focus from distractions. It is the mental equivalent of drawing a line in the sand and saying, "No matter what happens today, this is the one thing I will complete." The Stoics believed that a person who cannot follow through on their own intentions slowly loses respect for themselves. Every time you promise yourself something and fail to do it, a small part of your self-belief weakens. You begin to doubt your abilities. You feel guilty for your lack of discipline, and your identity becomes fragile because you no longer trust your own words. But when you consistently follow through, even on small promises, you rebuild that inner trust. You begin to see yourself as someone dependable, someone who takes action, someone who finishes what they start, and that inner trust becomes the foundation of mental strength. Setting one daily intention also protects your energy. Instead of spreading yourself thin, constantly switching tasks, or drowning in overwhelm, you pour your effort into one meaningful direction. And when you finish that one thing, something powerful happens inside you. Your mind feels lighter, your emotions feel calmer, and your confidence grows because you have evidence that you can take control of your day. That single completion becomes a psychological victory, a reminder that you are capable of consistency, progress, and discipline. It shows you that you do not need perfect conditions to make meaningful improvements. You only need commitment. This habit also trains your mind to stay present. When you know what your one intention is, you become less likely to get lost in distractions or unimportant tasks. You stop wasting time on things that don't push your life forward. You stop saying yes to everything and start protecting your time like something valuable. You develop a deeper sense of self-control because your actions now align with your purpose instead of your moods. And with each day you practice this, your mental clarity becomes stronger, your emotional balance becomes steadier, and your sense of direction becomes sharper. Over time, your life begins to change in ways that feel subtle at first, but become transformative. Instead of drifting through your days with no real progress, you start stacking daily victories. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything, you focus on what truly matters. Instead of doubting yourself, you build an identity rooted in discipline and consistency. You become someone who sets a direction in the morning and follows it through without excuses. You become someone who acts decisively. You become someone who finishes, and finishing, even small things, builds a type of inner power that no one can take from you. Eventually, this habit shapes your entire personality. You begin to walk with more confidence because you trust your own discipline. You become calmer because you no longer chase everything at once. You become more resilient because you have trained your mind to stay focused in a world full of distractions. And you become more successful, not because of luck or talent, but because you consistently do what others avoid. You choose one important thing and you complete it. This is the essence of mental strength. It is not about being perfect. It is not about doing 100 things in one day. It is about waking up, choosing with intention, acting with discipline, and following through with unwavering commitment. When you master this, you no longer live your day, you lead it. And the person who leads their day eventually leads their life. When you look closely at the habits of strong, disciplined, and emotionally grounded people, you realize something important. Their lives are not shaped by luck, talent, or special advantages, but by the way they choose to begin each morning. Your morning is not just a routine, it is the foundation upon which your entire day is built. It is the quiet battlefield where your mind prepares itself to face the world. It is the place where clarity is born, where discipline is sharpened, where self-respect grows, and where your future identity is quietly constructed long before anyone else sees it. If you start your morning with chaos, distractions, and emotional noise, the rest of your day becomes a reflection of that confusion. But when you begin your day with intention, stillness, discipline, and a deeper connection to yourself, your mind becomes stronger. Your emotions become calmer and your sense of direction becomes clearer. Each of the habits you choose, whether it is protecting your first thoughts, avoiding your phone, creating a structured routine, embracing silence, moving your body, spending time in solitude, or setting one focused intention, becomes a brick in the foundation of a stronger, wiser, more stable version of you. The truth is that mental strength is not something you suddenly discover. It is something you build piece by piece, decision by decision, morning by morning. It grows in the small choices you make before the world demands anything from you. It grows when you choose clarity over confusion, discipline over excuses, solitude over noise, and intentional action over emotional impulses. And when you repeat these choices every day, they begin to transform not just your mornings, but your identity, your habits, your relationships, and ultimately your entire life. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment. You do not need to wait for motivation to strike. You do not need to have everything figured out. You simply need to begin each morning with deliberate intention and a commitment to strengthening your mind. Over time, the discipline you practice in the first hour of your day becomes the strength you carry into every hour that follows. You become someone who cannot be easily shaken, someone who stays calm when others panic, someone who acts with clarity while others react with confusion. So let your mornings be your training ground. Let them shape you. Let them cleanse your mind from yesterday's noise and prepare you for today's challenges. Let them be the quiet space where you rebuild your inner power and reconnect with the person you are becoming. Because when you win your morning, you win your day. And when you win your day over and over again, you eventually win your life.